You mentioned Aaron Rodgers, and I think if you want to find a silver lining, this is at least a silver lining from my point of view, it's that Aaron Rodgers will shut it down now and will not come back and risk re-injuring himself, risk next season. He has been activated to the 53-man roster, will continue his rehab, but again, will not play the rest of the season. So here is Aaron Rodgers this week on if 2024, though, will be his finale.
I don't think so. You know, I felt like when I came here that I got kind of a renewed passion and love for the game, and everything has been amazing here. Just the people I've gotten to work with, the relationships I've gotten to form with my teammates, and the amazing men and women that work here at One Jets Drive has been really special. I wanted, at least 2 years. I feel like this year is kind of a lost year now that I only played a couple snaps and wasn't able to go out there and improve what I'm capable of and see what we're capable of as a team. I don't think that next year will be my last year.
And guys, that's a big deal. Just in terms of planning and how the Jets go about this offseason. There were a lot of people when Aaron Rodgers signed or got traded that thought, hey, maybe it's just a one and done. Now he's talking about 3 years post that, still playing. Connor, how do you think going into next season, at least assuming that Aaron Rodgers will be here for more than next year, changes the way that the Jets go about things?
Well, I think it puts more on the plate of the organization in a good way, where if he's really going to be here 2 years, it allows you to do both at once. And what I mean by that is it allows you to continue to try to compete, not in an all-in window, but definitely putting your foot on the gas here and trying to win next year, trying to win the year after that. But you also have to keep in mind what is life after Rodgers. Now you maybe have the time to develop a guy behind the scenes behind Rodgers. We know it's not going to be Zach Wilson anymore. So you could still draft a developmental quarterback, and he's not going to be thrusted into the spotlight right away. He gets to sit in the quarterback room for 2 years with the Hall of Famer, and then he'll have the time to properly pick up on a pro offense, the speed of the game. You get to see him in practice for 2 years. So I think for me, it's about the long-term development just as much as it's about putting the right pieces around Rodgers to win next year. And Joe Douglas needs to be prepared to handle both.
Bart, what do you think?
I mean, when you think about, also that means that your salary cap is going to be stretched out, because now that means that he's going to be on your books for 3 years and not 2 as well. And also you have to consider what teammates are you going to have around him. Who knows what happens with the Corey Davis money. You have to have real consideration and conversations about if you're going to keep Allen Lazard on this team, because you need to start trimming the fat. And you can't have guys that have bulky contracts that isn't going to contribute at a high level. Carl Lawson, you got to figure out how you're going to go about extending C.J. Mosley, who's still playing at a high level, but his cap number kind of gets crazy. You got to start having conversations, because I believe Whitehead is up after this year, so you have to try you have to try and replace that. You got to spend money on Michael Carter, because I think he's one of the unsung heroes of this team. He's probably playing better when you look at the rankings, better than Sauce and better than Reed on the outside, and what he's given up from the slot. And we know how important that position is. It's become one of those premier positions that you have to have a guy, because of most teams are in, sub packages, 75% of the game. So now you got to ask yourself, how do I fix this offensive line? And how do I get better and also develop a quarterback at the same time? That's a lot to do. And you got to have a precise plan. Aaron Rodgers has to be on board. And you have to understand that sacrifice is going to have to be made. We're going to see what type of recruiter Aaron Rodgers is, because we didn't get an opportunity to get the Aaron Rodgers effect because nobody knew that he was really coming. We've seen, speculation. We saw, but after the draft, after free agents, guys weren't going to wait on Aaron Rodgers to decide if they were going to leave some money on the table to have an opportunity to win a championship. The only one who did that was Dalvin Cook, and it hasn't worked out so well because Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the first 4 plays of the season. So it's going to be important to see if Aaron Rodgers can recruit guys like Devontae Adams, but also guys to come over like Tom Brady did, guys that want to come over and say, hey, I've made my money in this league, now I want to win a championship. And I believe that Aaron Rodgers, if I go over there, much like what we see happening in Colorado, like everybody wants to help Deion, right? Does Aaron Rodgers has that effect, and how many friends and admirers does he have outside? Like when Randy Moss used to get up and say, oh, man, I got to see this. This is Favre. How many people are saying that same thing about Aaron Rodgers and seeing how he's handled this situation here with, the Jets opposed to what he's did in Green Bay and say, I want to go play with that guy?
Yeah, I think I'm on the same ship as Connor Rodgers. You're talking about if you're going to have him for 2 or 3 years, what's next after him? Because we've been through that before, right? Like, you can't leave this organization without having the next heir apparent. And when you talk about from an overall schematic standpoint, what does Nathaniel Hackett, looks like in another 2 or 3 years, right? Because he's on a prove-it contract too. Like, if Aaron goes, you have to have either him or somebody in place with him that can implement an offense that can really kind of continue throughout the path.
I.e. quarterback.
So who knows what happens, man? But it's interesting because I think Aaron, you never want to say he owes the Jets anything, but he owes the Jets a lot, right? Because they pretty much sold their soul to him with all the pieces they were able to acquire and pretty much change the culture of the Jets. Now he has to come in next season. That thing has to turn over fast.